It is Tuesday, June 11th, and the Dong Report is back in your life. I'm Matt Modai, and I have 3 home run predictions for you guys to lock in for today's MLB betting slate. So just going to have home run picks for you guys as opposed to any pitcher props as well. Unfortunately, yesterday was not one of our days on the Dong Report. Honestly, it was kind of my fault. I only had 2 picks yesterday. I chose 2 players on the Orioles to hit a home run. One guy I did not pick to hit a home run was Gunnar Henderson, and he is a player that hit a home run. I had Ryan Mountcastle and I had Anthony Santander. I believe I'm still probably butchering his last name, but I had those 2 to hit a home run, and they did not. 0-2, down 1 unit yesterday as I put a half unit on these home run props. That now brings our losses on the entire season to a pretty disgusting, down about 17.5 units. That's terrible, but hey, 10 days through the month of June, we are up. Granted, we are very, very slightly up, 0.18 units, but hey, profit is profit. And really, after the disgusting start that we had in the first couple weeks of April, we've mostly broken even on the Dong Report for the last 6 weeks. Now, breaking even is nothing to write home about, but my losses look a lot grosser because of how bad the beginning of April was. So hopefully we're able to turn things around. I would love it to just give me below the minus 10 unit mark, and then we'll go from there. So as I mentioned for today, we got 3 home run picks for you guys to lock in. Remember to like the video, comment, subscribe. Check out my Dub Club if you're interested in having all my plays sent to you for $5 a month. But let's get into today's picks. So the first game that we're going to go ahead and look at is in the Guardians versus Reds game. And I'm taking Jose Ramirez to hit a home run plus 375 odds at Fanatics. So one thing that I do want to talk about is this game, Guardians-Reds game, best game of the day by far from a weather perspective for home runs to be hit. And when I say from a weather perspective, it's looking at the actual weather of the game and then also looking at the stadium as well. So obviously anything played at Red Stadium is going to be a positive home run day. And that is absolutely the case with this one. So one strategy that I'm going to try out with the Dong Report is if I find a mashable matchup, mashable pitcher, mashable ballpark, all that stuff, I'm going to do what I did yesterday and take 2 guys in that matchup, with the logic being if one of them hits a home run, we'll be profitable, and you just up your chances if you target these specific matchups. So I'm going to have 2 guys in this game on the Guardians to hit a home run because I like targeting the pitcher that we have for the Reds. Now, we'll get into that in a little bit, but I just kind of wanted to preface that. As for Jose Ramirez, he's been a staple on the Dong Report over the last couple weeks, and a lot of the successes that we've had have been because of Jose Ramirez. We got 2 dongs to hit on Saturday. He was one of the 2, so hopefully he continues to come through for us. In terms of the pitching matchup against the Reds, so they have an opener, Brent Suter, on the mound. He's terrible. If he ends up pitching more than 1 inning, that would be a huge bonus for us because he is an absolutely mashable pitcher. He's terrible. And then the primary pitcher is going to be Nick Martinez for the Reds. And luckily, he is also a pitcher that I think Jose Ramirez should be able to mash. So even if Brent Suter, Jose Ramirez will get at least 1 at-bat against Suter. Even if it only ends up being 1 at-bat, I'm not really scared off by the matchup against Nick Martinez. So that's why I kind of really like the Jose Ramirez angle in this game. Jose Ramirez is a switch hitter. Brent Suter is a left-handed pitcher. Nick Martinez is a right-handed pitcher. But luckily for Jose Ramirez, his splits are really good, both against lefties and against righties. So either option, the handedness of the pitcher, doesn't really scare me off of this one. Ramirez's ISO rate against left-handed pitching, 26.9%. His ISO rate against right-handed pitching, 28.3%. Excellent in both categories. Slightly better against righties, but still excellent in both categories. And looking at Ballpark Pal, they list this as both pitchers. Jose Ramirez has the advantage over both pitchers. Now, he has a better advantage over Brent Suter, which makes sense because Suter is a worse pitcher. But even against Nick Martinez, it's still an advantage in favor of Jose Ramirez. And he's been awesome this year. On the entire season, he has an ISO rate of 27.9%. That's the 6th highest ISO rate in the entire MLB. The reason why he is able to hit so many home runs and why he has such a high ISO rate, obviously ISO rate measures power, but the reason why he's been able to hit so many home runs is because of his fly ball rate. He has an excellent, phenomenal fly ball rate of 50.2%, which is the 8th highest fly ball rate in the entire MLB. So in Red Stadium, hitting a fly ball with just a little bit of power is going to send that bad boy out of the ballpark. So let's hope that is what ends up happening. That's our first play. Next up, I told you we're sticking in the same game here, Guardians Reds. And I have David Fry to hit a home run plus 480 odds at Caesars. So another guy on the Guardians, this time going with David Fry, his first time on the Dong Report. So let's hope that he comes through for us. He's the DH for the Guardians, normally bats fifth, which is great. I love backing DHs because they're there to hit, and especially him being fifth in the lineup, you're going to want that guy to swing for the fences, which makes sense. Now, for David Fry, I will admit that he is a better matchup if he is going up against Brent Suter. So the hope here is that batting fifth in the lineup, he's at least able to get one at bat against Brent Suter. If he does, then I'm very, he could hit him yard and in that one at bat. That's how good David Fry is against lefties, and that's how good the matchup is for David Fry as well. So again, hopefully he's able to get at least one at bat against him. If it ends up being mostly Nick Martinez, that would be it's not as good of a matchup for Fry as Nick Martinez is for Ramirez, but I wouldn't be completely scared off of that either, obviously, which is why I'm going with him. So I don't want people to think that I'm only taking him because of the matchup against Brent Suter. That is just a way better matchup. If you look at the entire season, Fry has an ISO rate of 25.4%, so that is in the excellent category according to Fangraphs. But his ISO rate specifically against lefties is all the way up to 35.7%. That's obviously an incredible number. That's why if he gets one at bat against Suter, that would be great for us. And it makes sense. 5 of his 8 home runs on the season have come against left-handed pitching, which, as I mentioned, Suter is, while Martinez is a right-handed pitcher. If it just ends up being Fry versus Martinez, again, I'm still comfortable with this matchup because Fry has been able to hit righties better recently. If you look at the last 2 weeks, his ISO rate against right-handed pitching is at 29.4%. And just across the board, not even looking at ISO rate, WRC plus, WOBA, all that stuff, really, really good against, against right-handed pitching over the last 2 weeks. So he's been hitting them a lot better. Hopefully, in this type of weather game, even if it doesn't end up being Suter, hopefully he is able to mash one out of the ballpark for us. That's our second play. Third and final Dong pick of the evening, Yankees versus Royals game. Vinny Pasquantino to hit a home run plus 540 odds at FanDuel. So Pasquantino has quietly been awesome for the Royals recently, and I think this is a really, really good price getting him at plus 540. Now, normally when there are odds like this, when I think that it's mispriced, I can at least understand why the books are pricing it at plus 540. Royals Stadium is not Red Stadium by any means, not a stadium in which you would want to target home runs. It's definitely a pitcher's park over a hitter's park, but it's not like home runs are never hit at Royals Stadium. It's just a little bit tougher. And Marcus Stroman has the name value of being a pretty decent pitcher, but Marcus Stroman is a right-handed pitcher who struggles against left-handed hitters, and Vinny Pasquantino is a left-handed hitter who is much better against right-handed pitching. So it's kind of a match made in heaven from that perspective. On the year, Pasquantino has hit 7 home runs, which isn't a massive number, but he's hit 7 home runs. 6 of those 7 have come against right-handed pitching. His ISO rate on the season against right-handed pitching is up to 20.6%, which is in the great category, not excellent, but still good enough for what we were looking for. And it's significantly lower against lefties. And Pasquantino has been on a heater if you look at the past couple weeks, which is why I really like him for this specific matchup. If you look at his entire season, his stats are closer to okay than great. If you look at recently his stats, they're phenomenal, which we'll get into in a little bit. But another reason why I really do like Vinny is on the season against right-handed pitching. So the entire year, not any recent sample size, he has a fly ball rate of 45.8%, which is a pretty good number. But if you look at his recent stats, so he's only hit 2 home runs over the last 30 days, but both of those home runs have come within the past 2 weeks. And for batter props, I like to look at a 2-week sample size to see how well they're hitting recently. And like I said, he's been hitting really well. In the last 2 weeks, both of his home runs over the last 30 days have come within the last 2 weeks. He's got an ISO rate of 31.7%, but that's good. Like, that's an excellent ISO rate. Good is not even calling it correctly. It's an excellent ISO rate. But even better than that is his fly ball rate is all the way up to 61.1%. That's obviously an incredible fly ball rate. And then as for the pitching matchup, I mentioned he's going up against Marcus Stroman. Ballpark Pal, our friends over there, gives this a plus 10 extreme advantage in favor of the batter, in favor of Pasquantino. And that makes sense when you talk about everything I've said about how Pasquantino is better against righties. And then when you look at Marcus Stroman, who is not as good against lefties. Stroman's given up 10 home runs on the year, and despite the fact that he has not seen as many left-handed hitters, 6 of those 10 home runs have come against lefties. His fly ball rate is slightly lower against lefties, but his pull rate and his hard hit rate are both higher against lefties. So hopefully Pasquantino mashes one for us for plus 540 odds. That would be very juicy. And that's all we got. 3 home run picks for you guys to lock in. Make sure to like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Check out the Dub Club if you are interested. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.